there, everybody. Welcome to Beer with the Boss, that podcast where a guy and his boss have a beer, talk about technology and whatever is trending out there. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, to like this episode, to share with your friends, to activate notifications and leave comments and give us your feedback. I'm back here today. I'm Rodrigo Matos. I work at Webera.
And I'm Joe Zamboni, CEO at Webera and co-host of the show. I'm here to put a pint of knowledge on the latest trends in tech. Cheers to another episode of Beer with the Boss. And I'm sorry, guys, we post late the post last week. But here to figure out, to help us today, we have another friend. Before I pass to him, I will ask Rodrigo what he's drinking.
I'm drinking a Vincent Porter beer. It's from a local brewery here called Unica. It's from the town where I live. It's like a stout, right? Like a porter beer is like a kind of a stout, I guess, like a black beer. Very good. How about yourself? What you drinking?
I'm drinking a Chimay Trappist on the wrong cup. Actually, I'm drinking on the bottle, which is wrong. Anyway, but let's ask our guest tonight, George Farias. What are you drinking? And introduce yourself, please.
Hello, guys. My name is George. I'm an engineer here at Webera. And thank you guys for having me here. And I'm drinking a Argentina beer, the best one. Let's try to use my Spanish accent. Patagonia. It's an amazing beer.
Perfect Spanish accent.
Yeah, perfect. And Argentina, everything is the best there, right? That's what they say.
That's what they say. Welcome, George. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a while. Like we've been trying to have you here with us, and finally we could find a fit in your calendar. So thank you for joining us today. And today we're talking a little bit about one thing that these two guys here, Joel and George, are experts, which is DevOps. So we want to talk talk a little bit about DevOps and explore the rise of DevOps and how it is transforming the software development game. I want to start a little with a question for, I guess, like I'll ask George first because he's our guest today. George, what can you tell us about how DevOps evolved over time? And what kind of factors have contributed to its evolution?
Yeah, to understand how DevOps evolved, we need to understand where the story began. So I think we need to back in time, maybe 10, 20 years ago. And yeah, I just
You can't go back that much.
Yeah, I just realized I'm getting old. so sad. Okay.
No, you're not that old, man. If you go 20 years back, you're going to be what, like 11?
Okay. Kids, listen, Uncle George. So many years ago, a long time ago, before iPhone, Uber, so the technology was really different. So back then, the technology, we need to go to freezer rooms to set up hardwares, install RAID 0, 1. So there, the evolution, the pipelines was pretty slow. So that is totally different from today. So that's where our story began. So that's the evolution looked like that. So we start slow, and after the virtual machines, we start the number of the application, the unicorns start in companies become unicorn. So we have a massive scale. So now we have applications, huge applications. So we need to create a way to automate the process, to create a way to deploy application as fast as possible. So that's the our overview of DevOps.
I guess that's a natural movement that we humans, our brains are like, we try to commoditize everything that we do. So, right. So then we have the data scientists, like you mentioned, we used to work on those freezer guys. Then we still have them, but like it's easier to build them now. So now we go to like we hide that layer, then we build another layer on top that is make that one faster, and that one fast. Then came the cloud, right? When they came the cloud, it's like you don't have to build a data center. Data center is already there. It's infinite capacity, or at least the capacity is get to a point that it's so expensive that you really have to have a workload to justify pay for that. But in startup world, it's like, but make so much faster. So you don't have to do the data center, but now you have everything much faster. So you have to have a new kind of profession that to be able to use this technology, which and to write code to create infrastructure. I think that's the moment where one of the points where DevOps became a reality. Like you don't build infrastructure anymore, you code infrastructure. That was one of the points. And I think the other point of DevOps is when people realize that they don't really need a separate team to operate the application. You build, you operate. So that's like when DevOps was really, I think the word DevOps was coined. It was including on the famous 2009 Flickr presentation where they show the word DevOps first time. But yeah, this is when they merged both sides of the wall.
Yeah, in the past we used to spend take you what 1-2 days to finish deploy one system. So today we can deploy a new machine in maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So it's a huge difference. So now we have APIs in many providers, so we can use code. So now, with as a platform engineer, we can use code to create infrastructure. That's a really game change.
That's amazing, guys. And of course, it's like a very great improvement in terms of engineering. And I want to ask now about culture. How and what are the characteristics of the DevOps culture, and why they are so important for companies in like current days?
Okay, let's understand the problem here. Um, Platform engineers, DevOps engineers, software engineers, even though we work in the same company, we have different goals. For a develop, the main goal is delivery new features as fast as possible. And for us engineers, DevOps, we need stability. So I don't want to be woke up in the middle of the night because there is a new bug and the system goes down. So that's the huge difference. So I want a stability. The dev wants a new feature. So we have to find a new balance to do that to live together.
Yeah, like the DevOps, we have this the CALMS mantra, right? The culture automation, lean measurement and sharing is the people say that that's the real power of DevOps. That is not like the automation part, like just the automation and things like that, but like changing culture. I guess initially, as agile, right? People try to transform it in a movement instead of job position,
Yeah.
but the business side tends to like now there's DevOps engineer. I was like, okay, yeah. But it was weird at the beginning. It's like, are you a DevOps engineer or am I just a sysadmin with script knowledge or something like that? That's really interesting. But then came the idea of it's a movement. It's like agile, right? You had the agile manifest and all those things in the past, in the early 2000 or end of the 90s, I think it was. And it was all these like, oh, is better software is better than documentation or things like that. That was the agile. But then, which Rodrigo was part of the product ownership and Scrum Master and all those things. It's but those days Scrum Master is a position and job description and everything, right? So the business tend to box everyone and everything inside something. I think that's happening with DevOps. Is like, okay, now you get your movement. There's a job description, and you do the movement by yourself.
From the perspective of an organization, how can we measure the effectiveness of DevOps? Are there any specific metrics that we can track to know that DevOps is like working?
Yeah, I think the Dota one is the one that Google uses more, right? They'll recommend you use Dota 4 is called. I think is 4 or 5 metrics that you look into, like how long takes deployment to happen, how many failures you have over time. I don't remember exactly all the rules of the game, but maybe we can search about. But I remember at some point we had on our website a Dora 4 test that you can take and see how your company is doing.
That's true.
On the metrics. And it's basically an idea of how much automation, testing, and all those culture changes are being impacting your organization. Which is like the other day, I think I was watching the podcast of the Victor, the guys from DevOps Toolkit, and he was talking about about like someone working on an organization, and I used to work on this organization. I think George too, and many people used to, like those change management meetings at Friday night that you're gonna, or Friday afternoon that you're gonna discuss change that you're gonna have during the weekend, and you'll be prepared to work during the entire weekend to do a change. Those are bad times, man.
Yes,
I don't miss those times where you had to. Yeah, definitely. I mean, still today we do some things that, but like more like when you're launching a product or something, you have a huge marketing campaign, and you're there doing this. But even these kind of product launches are less and less those days, because you wanted to test the product, to get feedback, and then you go slow, unless you go viral, right? But
Yeah. Today we have a lot of tools to help us to deliver faster deployment. So yeah, today's
yeah, I
we need to
remember
use.
doing a change in the billing system of the telco that I used to work. Took like 3 days change. We sleep in the hotel and close to the office, like working turns, doing data migration, things like that. And it was a need, because the system was like monolith. The machines were very expensive. You couldn't have 2 machines of that thing because it was too expensive to have 2 machines. You cannot have 2 systems running simultaneously. You have to have one another. Like, was unbelievable hard. These days I can see some of the process that we could do parallel, but unbelievable how hard it is.
I think that's the main point. So we have the new features and stability. So how we can deliver faster, and keep the system working properly. So
No.
that's the challenge. So we need to work together with the developers. We need to create a process. We need to use the tools. We need to test again, over and over again, to be sure that everything will work well. So
Yeah.
that's as like be a DevOps every day. So help to deploy something and guarantee that everything goes well.
We live brighter days now, right?
Oh yeah.
But even though we live brighter days, many organizations still don't take advantage of DevOps, right? And don't use DevOps. So I have one question for you guys. What are really the challenges, or like some common challenges that an organization faces when trying to implement DevOps that they have to overcome? And if you have any tips for this
I would
organization to overcome?
say change the mindset. I say it looks like a coach, like a guru, but I think it's very important. We need to change the mindset because you need to work here together. You need to work as a one team, and for me that's the only way to everything working.
Yeah, I think we had a post on this a couple of weeks ago. Remember that we had we did a meta-analysis of many other blog posts
Mm-hmm.
on the why those, and there was like, I think, let me see if I find the post here. There was like 3 or 4 posts that we would look into, but I think the main reason there was things like create a the DevOps department that is like isolated from the rest of the company, doesn't work together, or like have the old system engineer guy start doing DevOps. They will not do like that. They will not be. And I think that was one of the um, yeah, and like not having organization support also, like not being top down, like it has to be like everyone has to understand it. It's like agile, right? You can't do agile with a manager asking to you to do the Gantt charts. It's like it's not gonna fly, a Gantt chart with agile. It's like, I'm sorry, you can't do. It's like you can't have those things in a agile running in a Gantt chart. We used to play with, it's not a Gantt, it's a Kant. It's a Kant chart.
My last question you guys kind of answered the question I was going to say now, but in terms of culture, like besides changing the mindset, what is the biggest transformation that DevOps bring to an organization, like in terms of culture?
I think the end of the silos,
Yeah.
because you don't have anymore a silo between dev and ops. They should work together.
We still have styles, but different because now we have different people in the same place. Devs, platform engineers, everybody working together. So that's the difference. That's the culture in action. So,
All right, guys, that was amazing. Well, George, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure this is only the first time you're going to be here. You're more than welcome to join us for another beer anytime you want. And well, I'm done with my beer. I'm a quick drinker, as you guys know. That's not a good thing. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this. And well, thank you, Joe. We're all sorry, Mom.
Yeah. We're sorry, Mom.
Shall we do that next week again? What do you think,
definitely.
Joe?
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, George, for joining us today. Thank you, Rodrigo, also for hosting us every week. And see you guys next time.
thank you, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.